Hi guys, how's it going? So this is a quick EOS update. I'm going to try to keep it no more than 15 minutes. It's Saturday, March the 11th, about 5 a.m. Central Standard Time. And a lot has happened with EOS. I'm not really trading it too much. Actually, barely, you can say. More so playing around with it for fun, where I was just buying a bunch of random altcoins during the Bitcoin dip there at $8,400 just to see where I could come out ahead on some coins there. So I was talking about this support prior in my last video 3 days ago for EOS, and I was saying support found or monster drop, and unfortunately the monster drop happened, right? We were seeing a descending type of triangle like that. Actually, not even a descending type of triangle, because it should have made a few more contact points there. We're just using this relevant support region right over here. Basically, not including the wicks, right? Even if we did include the wicks to over here, right, to get this point and this point right there, we still dropped well below it. So it made more sense for us to consider some regions as bear traps on a higher time frame, right? So for example, on a 12-hour time frame here, it could have been even higher if we raised it to around here, and then we would have got many regions of here, there, and there as support. So the way that I'm seeing this right now, if we were to actually counter Elliott waves, right here, this was the day that Bitcoin ended up falling hard, right, on December 17th, but other coins like EOS, for example, still ended up uptrending to finish its final 5-wave count. So if I were to count my Elliott waves just very generally and quickly, it would most likely be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now a lot of you guys are going to say, well, the wave 4 overlapped. Yes, it's a heavily leveraged market. So you have to understand that the wave 4 overlap has to overlap sometimes in wave 1 in these heavily leveraged markets, right? So unfortunately, we're going to have to accept this count and count it as a flash crash in here. So regardless of how you see it, it's the only way that makes sense for an Elliott wave count. And then the way that I'm seeing this over here is in simple ABC correction, like that. Simple A, B, and C, where it finally made a decent touch on a Fibonacci level. And that Fibonacci level was right here. I know I've been updating you guys a lot on videos and on some coins, right? But I think it's necessary. I spend a lot of my time doing technical analysis, guys, because I always plan for specific entries and exits. I always go into a trade knowing exactly what the scenario could possibly be like. I know my exact risk to rewards, I know my entries, I know my exits as well. And I think that's what all good traders should do. If you guys are not going to the trade with these types of scenarios set up already, you might be going in much more blind than you would like to go into, right? So here we made a touch almost at the 618 Fibonacci level there for A, but not quite. But here we actually made a very nice touch. Right there. So we touched into the golden pocket, bounced right off of it there. 618 held at a very reasonable level there. And I think everyone was very happy with that play because we ended up seeing a surge upwards. And everyone probably thought, hey, this is the beginning of an uptrend. I probably thought that too at that point, right? So this here could be the start of an uptrend right there. But unfortunately, according to Elliott wave, if it actually retraces by more than 100% of wave 1, then we consider that an impulse wave failure. So then we're most likely looking for some sort of ABC correction in here, coming down, right? And this is most likely retracing, I'm guessing 161.8, almost. It's about the 1-to-1 extension region right now. So let's just say that we call that an X point to denote WXY failure, W, X, and Y, like that, okay? Is that a possible count right there where we get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 wave count for WXY? Absolutely, that's a very possible count. And if this was making the B wave right here, it looks like we've got about one more wave to come down, doesn't it? Where this is possibly a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 coming down to a reasonable level. So there's many different ways to draw this slope trendline support as well, right? Just generally speaking, is that a way to draw it, right? Are we going to get one monster drop to $2? No, I really don't think that that's going to happen. Like some people have been suggesting, to be quite honest, I believe that Bitcoin's going to level off at a very reasonable level, right? Is this a reasonable place to draw it right here? take a look, guys. I know this might seem kind of extreme, but you have to consider some sort of bear trapped regions as well, where that's a bear trap as well, right? So anytime we break into this lower range right here, we tend to bounce heavily off of it. Take a look, right? So we consider this right here a kind of zone where it might touch briefly and then it bounces heavily back up from it again, like right here as well, right there as well. So maybe there's going to be a big wick that's going to poke below here, but other than that, we're starting to see, guys, like take a look at the volume, right? Every time before a bounce happens, what we see is a region full of heavy volume. So right here, right, you can easily see below that the volume is starting to pick up for EOS there, here as well, and here as well. The market is generally getting interested in these specific zones. And unfortunately, we didn't even come close to holding, guys, around that $6.50 range. And this was very expected probably to come down to these regions over here. So I do expect a small bounce to come down, guys. Unfortunately, I really do. Because I expect Bitcoin to get to around the $8,200 range. Oops, sorry. If it gets to the 8,200 range, then we can I can't click on this for some reason. If it gets to the 8,200 range, we can easily see, you know, regions of possibly right around here. Maybe I'm guessing okay, the big question, guys, is are we gonna hold above this level right here? This was $5.16. That's obviously a very relevant level right here, right? So keep note of that specific point right there, $5.15. Right now, Bitcoin is at what? Let me double check here. Bitcoin is at 86.28 right now, right? So if it ended up dropping another $400, you could easily expect EOS to fall a fairly significant amount with it as well, like it always does. Altcoins tend to drop proportionally by a factor of Bitcoin, right? And we got to take a look at the most recent swing low positions or regions where we found some solid support already. So it would most likely be this region right here, right? Would you guys agree with me? I think you would definitely agree with me there. So if I actually take my support region right around here, we're seeing that it's actually drawing very close and near to it already. So I'm looking pretty hopeful. And in fact, after doing this technical analysis in front of you guys, I might actually be very tempted to get into a position. We're going to say a hard support number could be above $5, right? Above $5, anywhere between $5 and $5.25 looks like to be a very decent support where we could easily finish up the fifth wave coming down here. So when I say the fifth wave, I'm just talking about something like this, right? 1, 2, perhaps 3 there, 4, and then we just get a fifth wave touching down right there. So if I consider this my slope trendline support, actually taking into account this region as well, it could possibly make sense, where the lower channel that I'm drawing in here is a region where it could only temporarily puncture and it could get wicked off in that area where we get a heavy rebound. So I don't want to do too detailed of a technical analysis in terms of Elliott wave on here, because I'm trying to not do as detailed of a count for Elliott wave for most counts, if you guys have noticed, because in bearish markets they're much more difficult, guys. Not only that, they can be very subjective and we can get so many different alternate counts that it can be overwhelming and confusing. So on the daily chart, guys, we ask ourselves, is this rounding off right here? And yeah, it definitely does look like it's rounding off. And who knows, we may not even drop further. Bitcoin may actually support at this specific region and not go down. We never ever know, right? So because of that, assuming that it could level off, it could be the end of the downtrend, this could be it as well. So it's up to you guys to buy onto strength if it does go up. But based on what we've seen, right, this could be a positive histogram tick as well. We're getting to fairly not really oversold regions. This would be our oversold region. My mistake for saying that. Let me just get my drawing tool out here. This would be an oversold region, right? From way back in the day. But yeah, we haven't really reached that in a while. This was supposed to be a fairly solid support that we found on February 6th, but we actually broke right through it. So now we don't really have a relevant place of RSI other than way back when it was first released. If we look on the 12-hour chart, we're actually seeing monstrous oversold regions right now as well. So it's almost looking like it's time to buy EOS, guys. Based on all these indicators, almost time to buy. We're seeing a possible crossover happening here soon on the 6-hour chart, but we're not really uptaking much to the histogram side at all. So that's, and the reason why the market sentiment is not bullish for EOS is because of Bitcoin. Everyone's expecting Bitcoin to go a little bit lower to the 82 to 8400 region based on history, right? We're seeing it, you know, positively uptick right there on the histogram, but on the MACD, it looks like it wants to curve for one more round coming down. So it's 3-hour chart as well. Same thing. I mean, let's look at some candles that we have going on here that haven't really done any price action yet, or haven't seen any. We get a doji that formed, didn't really matter. This could have been mistaken for a, you know, like a inverted hammer almost, but not quite, because it's not green and not on the bottom position. Right now we got 12 hours to go. This is a doji with very little volume. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bear days in a row now, 7 red days. Yeah, that's pretty scary, right? Will this level off like that? That would be amazing if it did. On the 12-hour chart, not really any series of signs of or a series for bullish signs whatsoever. I mean, on the 6-hour chart, the last candle was definitely a hammer. Got a hammer there, slight uptrend, came down, hammer here. We already have a slight bearish engulfing candle that's taking over. We don't really see any signs of bullish support yet, guys, on EOS. I mean, on the 3-hour chart right here, we got a series of a hammer there and another hammer that just got broken right away quickly with even a lower low than it. Not lower than this wick region right here, but lower than where it actually opened. On the 2-hour chart, yeah, guys, I can't say there's any signs of support yet, right? And it all depends on the Bitcoin right now, on the Bitcoin. We already see on the 2-hour chart, it's already ticking down to negative histogram again. So am I interested in entering EOS? Yes, I am. Am I interested right now? Definitely not, because it still looks like it's still very bearish and it's still got some ways to go. So I'm going to be interested in it when it's between $5 and $5 and, you know, 25 cents about. I'm unfortunately hoping for Bitcoin to come down a little bit more. And if it does, great. We're going to get ourselves a fire sale for altcoins. But if Bitcoin ends up supporting here, great. That's even great as well. So if Bitcoin does end up supporting, where is a very relevant region to be interested in entering? Well, if we break above this right here, this is going to be a great place to enter. Above $5.77, right? If it breaks 5.77, very, very logical target for down the road is to target something like that, where we enter a long position right around here. Target $6.30 right there. Keep your stop loss fairly tight, for example, okay? Maybe keep your stop loss at $5 and, I don't know, 60 cents about, just to give it a little bit of room. And you could be looking at a possible 2.64 risk to reward ratio for an 8% gain. That's the only short-term scenario that I can really think of right now. And we're going to find support regions most likely between $5 and $5.25. That's a lower support region if this doesn't hold right here. So this right here, $5.40, is your first support region, right? And the next support region, of course, would be, you know, this one got as low as 5.16, and this one right here is at $5.35. So I'm just gonna have to annotate on here for you guys as support zones. Hard support zones, and like I think this was 5.35, right? 5.35 if this right here does not hold, which was 5.40. Actually, yeah. This is the first support right here. So first support at 5.40. And yeah, that's how I see it right here. Okay, this is the first support at $5.40. If support doesn't hold, support zones between $5 and $5.25 if 540 doesn't hold, right? And this is a decent risk to reward scenario to take over here as well. If you guys, if we actually break above $5.80, a break above 580, a break above $5.80 will signal. Actually, I don't like to write wills because signal a rally to $6.30 with a great RR setup. So that's how I see EOS right now, guys. Very short term. As you guys know me, I'm a day trader and swing trader, right? So I like to focus on the very short term rather than on the extremely long term. I think crypto markets should be lived one day at a time, and that's how I'm always going to live it. So I hope that it has given you guys some insight in one way or another. I hope I've helped you now, and hopefully it'll help you a lot down the road as well. My goal is to definitely just give you guys a hand as best as I can, create funny content, make crypto entertaining as well, and I'm really happy to have met a lot of you guys in the community. So please make sure you like and subscribe my content. Make sure you guys share it with all your friends as well. If you guys think I'm doing a fantastic job, you are welcome to donate to the Luna cryptocurrency piggy bank, where all of the crypto donated goes towards her drinking problem. That's exactly where it goes. I'm just kidding, guys. It goes all towards her vet bills, and you guys know that, just for emergency funds. So have yourselves a great day, and thank you very much for all the love and the support in the community. Take care now.